Are you sitting in your bed by yourself and freaking watching Pornhub and jerking off? Or are you sitting down at your desk and putting in the work? Next thing you know, little winker dinker goes whoop, and I'm just like, all right, I gotta bust one out now. Sometimes sleeping in until even 2, 3 p.m. First thing I would do, you guessed it, I'd roll over and hit the bong. And I remember I woke up with 2 girls by my side at like 5 a.m. That's gonna be you in that funeral casket. That's gonna be you with your family and friends in this funeral room. In that moment, I knew that I was never looking back.
Like heaven when you take me in your arms. You're my angel. You're the only sunshine in my life. Feels like heaven when you take me in your arms.
Nine months ago, I decided to quit smoking weed and drop all vices out of my life. To this day, quitting weed is my proudest accomplishment, something that I never thought I would be able to do. To tell you the truth, I knew this day would come. I just didn't know how I would handle it when it came. And as you start to win those days, day by day, you build this mental clarity and you recreate what you want out of life. You recreate your identity as a non-smoker. I don't smoke anymore. I don't say I don't smoke anymore. I'm not a smoker. You see the difference there? As soon as you decide to make this change, to cut the vices out of your life, to stop smoking weed, you need to operate like your back is against the wall. There's no looking back at your old life. That's your old life for a reason. The only way to move is forward. You were given a second chance at life. All your goals, dreams, aspirations, they're all on the other side of the vices that you gave up, of the no smoking, no drinking, no partying, no clubbing, everything that you could ever want. All the amazing things that life wants to give you, that life has planned for you. It's all on the other side of the vices that you're holding on to so strongly that you just don't want to give up because of the bad habits that you've accumulated over time that have become part of your routine that you know deep down are not serving your best purpose, but you don't want to let it go because that's what you're comfortable with. That's all that you know. That's what you grew up with. And so many people that I grew up with and that I know in the world as a whole, they never leave high school. Maybe they graduate high school. Maybe they go to college. Maybe they get an amazing career, but they never leave that person behind that they were during those times. You know what I call these people? I call them high school Jimmies and high school Jessicas. These high school Jimmies and Jessicas, they're still stuck in the glory days of high school. They say, oh, you know how good those times were in high school. You know, I was so young. And Jimmy, you're still doing the same stuff you were doing in high school. Nothing's changed. You're 40 years old now and you live in your freaking mother's basement. You smoke weed every single night at your pizza delivery job and you come back and you wonder why your life hasn't changed. You haven't changed your habits. Listen, something has to change if you want to move on to bigger, to better, to get everything that life has for you in store. You need to change the way that you live, and it starts with your habits. Cut it out. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Stop engaging in these meaningless peasant activities that are getting you absolutely nowhere in life and are taking you back. You're taking back steps away. Once you start to eliminate these vices out of your life, you realize how much time you were spending in those negative behaviors, those negative activities, and you start to realize how much extra time you have on your hands to focus on what you really like, what you really want to get out of life, to personally develop yourself into the man or woman that the people in your life can be proud of, that the people in your family can look up to, that the people that you come in contact are inspired by through the way that you talk and conversate, in the life and energy that comes out of you because you're not engaging in these vices. Listen, your character is built by what you do when nobody is around. Just because you can act disciplined and strong when other people are around, that doesn't define who you are. What defines who you are is what you do when you're by yourself in your darkest, deepest moments. Are you sitting in your bed by yourself and freaking watching Pornhub and jerking off? Or are you sitting down at your desk and putting in the work, building the mindset that's going to help you conquer, that's going to help you build a beautiful family, build wealth, build the empire that you're deserving of, that you can achieve, but it's on the other side of giving up the vices. With all this extra time on my hands, I've been able to read, I've been able to journal, I've been able to express gratitude. I started to walk, take steps every single day, started to listen to podcasts to cut out negative music, cut out negative people. I've started to wake up at 5 a.m. every single morning and get an early morning workout in. I've started to meditate, to pray. My relationship with my family, with God, has gotten stronger and deeper than it ever has been. I feel more in touch with the universe than I ever have been. I follow the universal laws and I believe in them, and I live in congruence with them. My family, my mother, for the first time in my life ever, she tells me that she's proud of me. She sends me voice notes crying with tears of joy, how proud she is of her dear son, how much joy I give her because I was able to leave all that stuff in the past. I once used to make my mother cry tears of not knowing if I was going to wake up the next day alive. She used to cry tears of depression, of anxiety, of worry about her son. And now she sends me voice notes, sending me tears of joy. Can't believe she always tells me I'm God's biggest testimony. Do you know how good that feels? Is a son who put her mother through hell to come out on the other side of that and get these positive messages on a daily. Every single day, my mom blows me up and tells me how proud she is of me and how she can't continue to see me move forward. And I'm only just starting. This is only the beginning. It's only been 9 months since I decided to give up all vices, and the amazing, abundant things that have happened to me over these last 9 months. How I've been able to not only change my life, but to inspire the lives of the people that I've come in contact with has been one of the most profound, magnificent changes that I could never conceive in my mind if you would have told me that this would have happened a year ago. But it all started one day. It all started when I made the choice, when I made the commitment to myself to let go of that past self, to let go of that person who was once a smoker, who was once a partier, who was once a drinker, who was once a womanizer. I left that man in the past and I focus on myself, on what I can do today in the present moment, because the present is all we have. And if you can focus on the present moment and focus on what you can do in the present every single moment of the day to become better, to the best version of yourself, to become better than the man that you were yesterday every single day, you're going to get better by 1%. And that's what it's about. Because life is a long, long journey every single day, but it moves fast. And every single day, you have the opportunity to either get better or get worse. There is no staying the same. If you think that you're staying the same, you're doing something wrong. Because if you think that you're staying the same and you're doing nothing to progress yourself forward, to move you closer to the man that you want to become, then you're moving worse. because everybody in life has an expiration date. You don't know when your time is going to come. So give it your all. Do everything that you can today so that if you don't wake up tomorrow, the people in your life can say, he freaking went hard. He busted his tail every single day and he left a legacy on this earth. He inspired people. At my funeral, I don't want people to say I was a personal trainer. I don't want people to say I was an ex-drug addict. I want people to say he was a man for others. He inspired people. He left his impact on this world. And that is what life is about. And you cannot be that man or that woman with all the vices in your life that are holding you back, because you know what vices are? They're vices. Vices are selfish behavior. Vices are you thinking that you deserve something in your life that you haven't earned. It's you saying, I worked so hard. I deserve to smoke this joint. I worked so hard. I deserve to go to the bar tonight. I worked so hard. I deserve to have this girl over and see what I can do to get her into my bed. No, you don't deserve any of that. We don't deserve anything in life. Life is earned. Every single day you have to earn it. And you earn it by getting in that dungeon. You earn it by doing the things that you don't want to do, by stepping into uncomfortable, uncharted territory and conquering that territory and coming out on top. Because there's a lot of satisfaction in doing uncomfortable things. There's a lot of satisfaction in doing all the things that you necessarily don't want to do. But on the other side of those things you don't want to do is a mountain of joy, is a life that you could only dream of, that you can't even conceive of, but you need to put in the work every single day to get you to that person. Ever since I decided to stop smoking, my communication skills are sharper than they've ever been. I'm able to tell people what I want. I'm able to be expressive about what I want to get out of life, my vision to help others, to impact thousands of lives and make the world a better place. My relationships and friendships are flourishing at a level they never have. I used to wake up first thing in the morning. I would roll over out of bed after sleeping in till about 12 p.m. at the earliest, sometimes sleeping in till even 2, 3 p.m. First thing I would do, you guessed it, I'd roll over and hit the bong right in bed. And then boom, I had my vape right there next to me. I'd pick that thing up and just inhale that thing so much that I'd probably smoke about a vape a day. Who knows how bad those things. And then after the vape, you guessed it, straight to the phone, scrolling on social media mindlessly, not even thinking about the stuff that I'm engaging in until I come across a couple of baddies. And then next thing you know, little winker dinker goes whoop. And I'm just like, all right, I got to bust one out now. And then, 2 hours went by since I woke up. I already slept in, so I already freaking lost the day. Because I think that if you sleep in, you don't appreciate your life. So I already lost that part of the day. 1 L, sleeping in. And then boom, I smoke. That's 2 L's. And then boom, I'm inhaling the nicotine. That's 3 L's. And then boom, I go to mindlessly scrolling on social media. I'm just stacking all these L's. How do you ever think you're going to progress in life when you're just stacking all these vices on vices on vices first thing in the morning? And that was me. For the longest time, I lived this way, mindlessly going through life. And I'm here to tell you that this will never help you become the man that you deserve to become, the man that you need to become for not only yourself, but your future family. You need to let go of the bullshit. Stop with this selfish behavior of thinking that you deserve. Guess what? You don't fucking deserve. You deserve to put yourself first, to prioritize yourself, your mental health, your physical health, your mental well-being, and do the things that suck that are going to lead to amazing things. So this lifestyle that I lived for over 10 years, it all started at 13 years old. The first time I got introduced to marijuana was at a buddy's house after a high school football game. His older sister's boyfriend was a drug dealer. We had easy access to sneak into his little stash, take a couple of nugs. Freshman in high school, how else are we going to smoke? We could get a can, pop a couple holes on top, a little hole in the side, make a little cherry pipe out of the can, and then freaking light that thing up. That was the first time I ever smoked. And since then, it was an endless cycle for 10 plus years of living for the Mary Jane. This thing had such a crutch on me. Every single thing I would do, I would resort to this drug. My escape from life. It was like, it always made life feel so good. That's what I always remember about smoking. Like, no matter how low or how bad the situation was at hand, I could always smoke and it would take me out of that and make me feel like whatever I was going through, it wasn't that deep. Whatever, and it never is that deep. Whatever you're going through in life, you only live once and it's not that deep, but smoking isn't the answer to that. But that's what it does though. It makes you realize that it's not that deep, but you don't need the weed to make you realize that. You could just realize that as your sober, present self and use different escapes like working out, like journaling, reading, putting your thoughts on paper. For the longest time, that was my escape. That's what I chose. Whenever things got tough, whenever life threw a curveball at me, I just smoked my problems away. And what this did was it led to me never actually handling my problems, but putting them to the side. And then after college, all these problems piled up on top of me. And I was still just going to the Mary Jane to solve all my problems. And then I remember going back to my mother's apartment, her 2-bedroom apartment, my sister in the other bedroom, my little brother sleeping with my mother in her bedroom, and me sleeping on the couch. And I knew in this moment that I needed to change. This is when I first realized that the Mary Jane wasn't doing nothing for me. It was holding me back. And I knew that I had to quit, but I didn't know how I was going to do it. I remember sleeping on my mother's couch after getting back home from college that year. And I would go outside. I would sneak outside real quietly after my mom fell asleep because I didn't want to wake her up. And I would go smoke a little bit. And I knew that when I was sober, I knew that I deserved better. I knew that I had to work to get myself out of this situation. I was sleeping on my mother's couch at 22 years old after college with no idea what I wanted to do in life. But then when I would go smoke, everything felt fine. I felt like I was in paradise. And laying my head on that couch, not knowing what the hell I was going to do with my life, I knew I had to make a change. For the next 4 years, I continued to smoke every single day as an escape from all my problems. A year later, after that moment at my mother's apartment, I made the move to Miami. It was the biggest risk I ever took in my life, but I was still smoking weed like crazy. I still had all these negative vices of gambling, partying, going to casinos, womanizing women, all this negative stuff. And for the first year and a half, that's all I did was engage in that. And then I had a big wake-up call when I got a call from one of my friends back home. He said, Matt passed away, man. Matt was my best friend. Matt was the one guy that believed in me when I decided to move down to Florida. Matt was the one guy that said, yo, I'll help you pack up your car and move down there. You're going to do something amazing down there. When everybody else, all my friends, all my family from back home, they were all holding me back. They were telling me, you'll never make it down there. Don't do that. It's just a matter of time till you end up back here. But Matt, he was the only guy that said, make the move. And guess what? After a year living in Miami, I got a call that said Matt had passed away. This was one of the lowest moments of my life. This was one of the toughest moments in my life because Matt was my best friend. Everything that he was doing, I was doing. And in that moment, I knew something had to change. I remember going back home for Matt's funeral, back to my hometown. The moment that I stepped into that funeral room, it was an open casket funeral. I remember seeing him in his grave. It just knowing that something had to change. It was the first time I ever got a sign from the universe in that moment. And the sign told me, if you don't change something, you don't change the way that you're living, that's going to be you in that funeral casket. That's going to be you with your family and friends in this funeral room, mourning over your death. In that moment, I knew that I was never looking back. I knew that I had to make a change. I knew that it was time. It was time to be different. And at that time, I was taking a lot of pills. I was taking Xanax pills. I was on the verge of suicide. And when I got back to Miami from Matt's funeral, I needed to make a change. I didn't know where to start, but I started to put it in prayer. That feeling that I got in the funeral room wasn't going away. I sat on it. I meditated on it. I prayed about it for 2 weeks straight in my room. Never left my room for 2 weeks straight besides going to work, back to my room because that thought was not leaving my head of the thought I got in that funeral room where if I didn't change something, that was going to be me. And finally, I got another sign, that positive voice again in my head. And it told me, go get a gym membership. Sign up at the gym. Personally develop yourself. Work on becoming the best version of yourself. And mind you, at this time, I was so low. I was on the verge of suicide. I had every bad vice you could possibly think of. I was doing pills. I was smoking weed every single day. I was going to clubs, casinos. I was womanizing women. I was going to strip clubs. Every bad vice that you could think of, I had. But that positive voice was starting to creep in. And it told me, sign up at the gym. So I told myself, I made a commitment to myself. And I said, I'm going to dedicate the next 3 months of my life to working out every single day till I see some results. So for the next 3 months, I worked out every single day with my head in the dirt, working during the day, working out at night. I found a time that worked for me and I stuck to that time every single day. And after 3 months of my consistency working out every day, I started to see a little bit of results. And after I saw a little bit of results, I was hooked. It was like a new drug for me. It was a way to recreate myself, to build my self-confidence and my self-esteem. I started to attract different people into my life. I started to feel healthier, build more mental clarity. And although I had that positive habit of going to the gym, I was still being held back by the Mary Jane. I had stopped taking the pills at that time because I knew if I didn't, I was going to die. But I knew that Mary Jane was natural, right? It came from the earth. So I was like, I could never die smoking this, and it makes me feel great. So let me use this as a reward mechanism, right? Going back to what I was talking about earlier. We always think that we deserve, right? We don't deserve shit. But for the longest time, I told myself, you deserve it. So I would hit a crazy workout, especially after I started to see a little bit of results. I felt like I deserved it even more. So after a workout, I had a little routine. I would work during the day. I would work out after work, and then boom, I would go home and smoke my night away. And this was just an endless cycle. And I thought I was doing good because I was really starting to see some results in the gym, and I was starting to build my strength. And I went from weighing 150 pounds to 190 pounds in 3 months. And I built muscle, and I got kind of chubby because I was taking mass gainers and eating so much, but I was bulking and I wanted to do that. And then I cut down and I felt even better about myself because I really started to get ripped. And I really, fast forward a year later after working out every single day for a year, and I really started to see results, see how the transformation took place, not only in my body, but with my physique and my mindset, but most importantly in my mind. But I was still smoking every day. It was still holding me back. And after a year, every single day of grinding with my head in the dirt, in the gym, smoking at night, I had built that one positive habit of going to the gym consistently at the same time every single day. And a year passed by, and I really noticed how much I had changed. And I felt a deep calling to become a trainer and start to help other people change their lives through how I was able to change my life. But the weed was still a crutch. It was still holding me back. And then I started to train clients in person. I got my first couple of clients on Miami Beach. I started to go to the beach every single day to train these guys, and started to smoke even more than I was smoking before. Because one of the guys that I was training with, who I was learning a lot from because he was a personal trainer, he was one of the biggest smokers ever. He loved to smoke, and he would use it for the same reasons, to reward himself after a workout. Again, we think that we deserve. We don't deserve shit. So after another year, I started to get even stronger, really define my physique. I started to get clients and started to see some success in this business, and it made me want to smoke even more. It made me think that I deserved it even more. And after a whirlwind of events, smoking, drinking, partying, clubbing with one of my clients that I had met, he had a party bus, he had all this, he introduced me to this lavish lifestyle. We did this for about 4 or 5 months, working out hard, going to pool parties, getting bottle service, spending money meaninglessly with no good intentions. It led to me falling into a very low moment where I had that good habit of going to the gym. I never let go of that. But everything else in my life felt like it was falling apart. My friendships, my relationships with my family, my relationships with the people at work, my job. I was starting to lose my passion for personal training. Everything was just starting to go down. And I knew it was because of the partying. I knew it was because of the vices. I knew it was because I was smoking more weed than ever. And for the first time ever, I felt like I was addicted to the weed. It had such a stronghold on me that I knew I had to make a change. And for the next 3 months, I continued to smoke every day. But every time I would smoke, I would get this anxiety. It was like I would smoke because it was just like such a routine. It was a custom. But then after I smoked and I was high, the anxiety hit and I was like, why are you doing this to yourself? Why do you continue to smoke every single day knowing that this is not what you should be doing, knowing that you deserve more out of life? And it was in that moment, August 4th, 2023, I had gone out. We had gotten bottle service at this place called Mr. Jones on Miami Beach. After a long night with so many girls at our table, like 4 or 5 freaking bottles of Clase Azul, all the best liquor you could think of. We were out till 5 a.m. that night. Spent a bunch of money that, could have went to other places. And then I remember I woke up with 2 girls by my side at like 5 a.m. after we got back. Just smoking, and I had like cigarette butts on me and stuff. And it was just such a low moment. And I told myself, I need to change something. This is not who I am. This is not who I want to be. And that was the day, August 4th, 2023, that I made the commitment to myself. I said, I'm never looking back. Just like I made it the commitment with the gym for 3 months. I said, I'm not going to smoke for a year straight. 9 months later, I'm 9 months sober, sharper, with more mental clarity than I've ever had. And all I can do is just get down on my knees, say thank you, to the man above. I owe him all and everything, because none of this would be possible if it wasn't for him. And some advice that I'd give to someone trying to stop smoking weed, trying to cut these vices out of their lives, is take it day by day. All you can do is win the day. Don't focus on what happened yesterday, because it's gone. Leave it in the past. The past is the past for a reason. Don't focus too far out in the future. Don't plan too far ahead. Don't think about what it's going to feel like in 30, 60, 90 days. Focus on what you can do in the present moment to win the day.